Hello everyone, this is Mr. Olivo. We are going to make a quick video on decomposing decimals. The first thing that we want to do is notice these place values up here. So these are the short versions of the place values that we've asked the students to put on top of the numbers so that they keep track of the place values of every number. So I like to always tell them, here's the decimal. So right next to the decimal is the ones place and the tens place, and these are our whole numbers, and because they are our whole numbers, we use capital letters. So capital T for tens, capital O for ones. And then over here we have our decimal numbers, lowercase t for tenths, lowercase h for hundredths, and lowercase th for thousandths. And that lets us know what place value each one of these digits is in. Now, if we were going to write these numbers, or write the place values that each of these numbers is in, it would be 2 tens plus 3 ones plus 5 tenths plus 7 hundredths plus 4 thousandths. All right, we really want to emphasize the THS at the end, and we like to really tell it 4 thousandths just to remind them that that's the decimal. Okay, so that's each one: 2 tens, 3 ones, 5 tenths, 7 hundredths, and 4 thousandths. But this can be written in other ways. That's what decomposing decimals is. We can write this in other ways. So this is what it looks like. We can take this 2 that's in the tens place, and we can actually bring it over into the ones place. And when we do that, instead of having 3 ones, now when we bring the 2 tens over, we have 23 ones. A good way to think of this is if we were thinking about money, and if I had $23 in terms of money, if I had 2 $10 bills and 3 $1 bills, that would give me a total of $23. That's one way that I could have $23. Another way that I could have $23 instead of 2 tens and 3 ones is having 23 ones. So that's what we're talking about here when we're talking about decomposing decimals, is multiple ways of breaking down numbers. The same thing can happen here in the decimal world. If I bring this 5 from the tenths over to the hundredths place, instead of just 7 hundredths, we would have 57 hundredths. And again, just to give you an idea, if you were thinking in terms of money, this would be tenths is like dimes. That's why it's called tenths, because it would take 10 dimes to make a dollar. It takes 10 of this place value to make the next one. So instead of 5 dimes and 7 pennies, because hundredths is like pennies, instead of 5 dimes and 7 pennies, if we put this over here, we have 57 pennies. So 57 hundredths would be like having 57 pennies. This gives me 57 cents, and so does this. Okay, that's the way you want to think about decomposing decimals. We didn't do anything with the 4, so I'll just go ahead and bring this 4 right down here. And now, the same way that I wrote my number here, my original number here, 2 tens, 3 ones, 5 tenths, 7 hundredths, and 4 thousandths, I can write this portion out in the same way, but now reorganize the way I've done it with decomposing. So right here I have 23 ones. That's exactly how I'm going to start. 23 ones plus 57 hundredths. 57 hundredths. Plus 4 thousandths. So I have 23 ones, 57 hundredths, and 4 thousandths. And that equals the original breakdown that we had. And we can decompose decimals in multiple ways. So I'll go ahead and rewrite the number, the original number, 23 and 574 thousandths. And instead of decomposing it the way I did here, I can actually decompose all of these numbers, all three of these digits, and put them together here into this place value. So here's what that looks like. If I were to move the 2 all the way to the tenths, and if I were to also move the 3 all the way to the tenths, remember we need to keep them in order, it would look like this, 235 tenths. So these three digits, 235, 235, can all be pushed into the tenths place. And I could either leave this 7 here and it could be in the 700ths, and this 4 would be in the 4,000ths, or if I wanted to, I could bring this 7 right into the thousandths place, and I could have 74 thousandths. And I can write it down just like that, 235 tenths plus 74. Sorry, my camera stand is in the way. I got a brand new camera stand thanks to a parent, thousandths, and I'm just getting used to it. Thousandths. There we go. So we have 235 tenths and 74 thousandths. Okay. We can reorganize this number in a multitude of ways. So another way that I can actually do it, and I'll rewrite the number one more time, 23 and 574 thousandths. I can actually go so far as to move all of the digits into the last place value. So if we moved the 2 into the thousandths, and the 3 into the thousandths, and the 5 into the thousandths, and the 7 into the thousandths. If I move them all into the thousandths, what we would have would be 23,574 thousandths. And that's exactly how I would write that. I would write 23,574 thousandths. So all decomposing decimals is doing is it's taking the original number and it's moving some digits into the place value to the right, or it's moving some digits into other place values that aren't their original place values, and combining them with the digit that was already in that place value. And again, the easiest way to think about it, I'll go back to the original one that we worked on, is to think about money. Instead of thinking about it as 2 10s and 3 1s to make $23, we could have 23 1s. And that's all decomposing decimals is shuffling over the digits into the neighboring place values. Hope this helps.